Starting. Okay. Hangout on air is live.
Woo! All right.
Let's see, we got the link. Okay, it's working. Jesus Christ, on YouTube. Here's the link. Okay, I'm sending it through the chat there.
Boy, you have a way with titles.
All right. Top. Okay. Chat is open. All right. We are recording. All right. So today we have Lily from Gushin, the Lefttube channel, and we have Jackie from Fox Talks, and we have Luke from, what's your channel again?
Enough for everyone.
Enough for everyone.
Enough for everyone. And we have myself, Steven, from the Swoletariat. We're going to talk about some fun things today. Okay, so let's kick it off with Jackie, because it was your idea in the first place to do this one again. And you wanted to talk about season 2 of your channel and what you plan to do and what you've been doing. I want to start by just saying that I saw your video today, and I thought that it was some of it was pretty clever. Some of the kind of the joking banter you had between your the characters was pretty good. But I'll let you tell us about what's going on. Take it away.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing one video like that, of that format, every week, starting with the beginning of season 2, which started with the American flags video. I'm going to try to keep them a little bit closer to like that short, so it's just kind of like a quick digestible conversation. I would love to be able to like develop characters and kind of have running jokes and that kind of stuff. I was talking to Luke a little bit before we started the stream about the next video that's coming up, which is I think the title's pretty clever. I totally stole it, but it's Kidcentration Camps.
Oh,
lovely. But like one of the
Kidcentration camps
of that joke.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. Yeah, I stole that from I think it's the most recent episode of Some More News. And I saw that, and like at the end of the video, there's this call to like, we just need to make this more known. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll do a video about it, right? And in the background of one of the shots, which is just like a still image that I'm cropped in over, there is like the whole episode running on a TV screen in the background as we have the conversation, just because there's a call out of the video at the very end, or a reference, not so much a call out, because I totally agree with what he was saying. But I feel like I'm glad people appreciate that format. It's not like what I was doing in season 1, so I wanted to kind of draw a line in the sand and say I learned some lessons from, getting started the rough way, and I'm going to try to put out something more polished, and then maybe in a month or two we'll have season 3 and it'll be even better.
Nice.
Yeah, so I definitely liked like some of the banter. It seemed like you had I don't know, there was definitely some good jokes in there. I think
it comes from real stuff, like all good jokes do. Like I feel like a lot of these arguments are ones that I've just heard so many times and like internalized that, I mean, I think we've all had a lot of these conversations before.
Right.
Like in American flags, this whole idea that someone who is so proud to show off their Confederate flag, like hang it from their truck, hang it from their house, wear it on their t-shirt, would get so upset over someone displaying their identity through a flag is just ridiculous to me, being a Southerner, where this is a kind of not an everyday occurrence, but like stuff like that happens relatively all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a lot more personal than like just writing a video essay. And if I can kind of sneak some of that idea in there in between the jokes, I think that's kind of the ideal mix.
Did anybody else see Jackie's video, the Starbucks video today?
I haven't seen the full video today. I saw the trailer a week ago.
Yeah,
or whatever,
that one's
I really like that.
What did I want to say on that one? What's your takeaway in that? What point were you trying to really prove, because a lot of those points there were things that I've been kind of talking about on my channel and in my discussions with American Johnson and everything that went on since then, because you touched on and elaborated on some of those points, which I thought was good.
The seeds of that video's idea was from me watching that conversation with American Johnson. Actually, I wanted to kind of respond to that, and then I just kind of held that idea for a while until it became something of its own. But I feel like the opposition, at least here in America, the conservatives and the Republicans, they've been pushing this classist agenda as a proxy for racism, and sometimes it makes people look a little bit silly to just constantly be going on about how this is racist. But like, why can't we call it classist? Why doesn't that have a certain weight to it as well? Why can't we just call it out as that and kind of more broadly acknowledge it?
Right.
Because I feel like that's an easier case to make in a lot of ways. So
it's not just that, like, rich white people despise blacks or Latinos. It's they have a kind of they despise really anybody poor.
No, I think that there's still people within that are, like I said in the video, like mustache twisting levels of racist.
Sure,
those people definitely exist, but they're selling it through this classist argument, and it's kind of like pseudo-fascism as well, or like all these Nazi dog whistles, like the OK sign. Yeah, you're kind of baited into the situation where they flip an OK sign, and you're like, oh my God, you're a fascist, and then they can go, look, they're calling me a fascist. Why can't we just call them a classist? Because they can't back out on that. What they're saying is definitely classism. It's classism with the point of furthering a racist cause. It's still classism.
Interesting.
And I feel like there needs to be more weight to that call out.
So okay, that's I mean, they can't really escape from that one. So what are some ways that we could, like, you can easily call out somebody for being classist? Like, what's something that the right or conservatives normally do or say that's like a good example?
Well, just the way that their general policy doesn't take into account the way the most disadvantaged people by these structural racist, by these systemic racist structures have been affected, and how we have like this poverty class that once they get you there, the work is done. Like capitalism kicks in and does the rest. We have almost no upward mobility in this country. So, they don't even have to be racist now. They've already won. They got the black people into the lower class, and capitalism, the system, is just going to keep them there. So, like, what's the point in them even being outwardly racist anymore? They've already won. We need to create a system that lifts everyone out of poverty. And I think that that's a really easy case to make.
Agreed. Anyone else thoughts on that?
Seems pretty damn communist, if you ask me.
And if that's your only argument against it being right, I've won, right?
Well, we are the Commie Pinko Lefttube Rendezvous, so
there you go.
Story checks out.
So let me try this out. I'm like, did you see American Johnson? He did a video with Black Red Guard recently.
No.
Okay,
No,
it was he's this, I think he's from St. Louis. He's a black guy from St. Louis he's like just like a straight up Maoist.
Oh, okay.
And his stuff's really interesting. Like, obviously I identify more as an anarchist, and he said stuff where I feel like he's mischaracterized anarchism to some extent, but like I feel like he has a lot of really good stuff to say, and like that whole discussion I think is sort of really enlightening, like I think towards what we're talking about now. It's not like, I don't know that you could actually I don't know that the like white working class in America has any revolutionary potential at all. Like, I'm just gonna flat out say that.
Okay.
Because like maybe the like very bottom end of it does, but like this is the thing I think about, like there's this promise, there's this sort of like bourgeois promise of like, if you just work hard and do what you're supposed to do, you're going to wind up, you know, as a millionaire. You're just a temporarily embarrassed millionaire or whatever. And and that sort of like carrot dangling in front of people, I think it just like it's, you know, you've been bought off by the capitalist class. Like that propaganda game is really, really strong, and it's really, really embedded in a lot of these communities. And like, I am all for like theoretical revolutionary activity. CIA, nice try, FBI. But like, you know, like, I just don't know. Like, I wonder if it would be beneficial for the left to focus more on like a communist sort of intersectionality rather than like giving that up to the liberals, because like I just don't know that there's any kind of revolutionary potential in the white working class whatsoever at this point. Like, and I'm saying this like, I wish there was, you know, but like,
well, I feel like we've gone for a very long time without having any sort of an economic left. We let the social left rise up and take its place, and we pretend that we have a left and right and all these things, but we have a center and a right, or a center right and a right when it comes to economics. People don't really think about that, and that's another thing that I want to bring to more Americans' attention.
Yeah, that's true.
If you look at it and with that regards to like the like the idea of like offering capitalism offering you benefits as a way of being like, hey, you can be okay with the system because we're going to give you something for it. That's like, if I was doing an interesting, like, I did like a history. I did a history course and then I failed it miserably and I just dropped out. But like we did an industrial revolution in there, and the industrial revolution, the reason there was so much like pent up revolutionary anger was because it wasn't so effective at just giving the working class something to do while they were being exploited. It was literally just exploitation, and there wasn't really any like break from that. So it's like, that's like efficiency wise, like capitalism has got a lot more effective at being like, oh, you don't need to revolt, because if you revolt and get rid of capitalism, then you're going to lose Game of Thrones. You know, right. You'll lose some of your favorite superhero movies. You'll lose those. Right. You fucking love superhero movies, don't you? Yeah,
I love them.
If you keep working, then you get to pay to go to superhero movies.
Superhero movies are capitalist mythology. Period. Done. Like, full stop.
You could. I mean, you're kind of right, but you could.
I'm totally right, and there is no. This is my dogma, and there is no changing my mind. Capitalism is superhero movies.
I think you could make leftist versions of some of them, especially. I mean, the Joker is almost a. I mean, you could twist that into some.
Yeah, but like all the proletariat in all these movies just scream and die the whole time, right? Like, this is just all they do. They're just there to scream and die.
As is, yes. I think there's
and fall out of buildings in Superman's case.
Yeah,
we could rewrite them. Can I say though?
There's got to be a commie superhero somewhere. I'm going to find this.
Yeah, somewhere. Captain Vietnam or something.
X-Men, like the red.
Colossus. Yeah, Colossus.
There's a bad guy. The red.
Of course, he's a bad guy.
Red something, and he's one of the powerful ones, I think. Anyway, you were talking about that there's no potential for revolutionary.
I mean, I hope there is.
So okay.
I just don't know. I'm not convinced there is at this point.
I saw somebody.
I'm also salty. I was just in Michigan for 4 days, and it's
yeah. Well, okay. Here's my thing. I saw a meme today that made me think of this. It was on a stupid poll on Reddit. How someone was talking about the poor conservatives and poor working class leftists. You might be able to build something just in the fact that so many of poor conservatives are already indoctrinated into the view that it's coastal liberal elites that are the ones that are ignoring them and keeping them down and all this free trade and stuff. And I mean, and they're kind of right. Yeah. So if we approach them and say, hey, you know what? Those coastal liberal elites are part of the problem, and they're keeping you down. and but we're on your side. And explain a little further about what's really going on. I think that's kind of a way into it. I mean, Bernie's sort of doing that.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, somebody seemed to have hope today on Reddit that there's potential, but anything's possible, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's hard is like, I mean, and I maybe I'm just thinking about this, like, I'm thinking about this specifically in like for any kind of like electoral strategy, which I realize is a distraction in a lot of cases. But like, I don't know. Maybe that was just like I was paying too much attention to like population and census data, and I don't know. I would love for there to be some revolutionary potential from the white working class, and I mean, like, I hope there is, and I mean, like, I hope that like what I do with my life is revolutionary in some sense, like in the sense that it is revolutionary, but like statistically, yeah, I don't know.
I do agree with you that it is depressing talking to fat Michiganians. I don't know how the hell you would even say that.
Michiganders.
Michiganders. I have my American family has a cottage in Michigan.
Yeah,
and it's very rural. It's very rural. It's very red.
Yeah,
that's where we're at there. Anyone else have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think
I guess it's working. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
So the thing, like the big thing to take away, I think, from a lot of the like working class stuff is it's like a lot of times when because we can at the end of the day all we can do is look at historical examples and try to figure it out from there. But like if we look at historical examples of that kind of stuff, like the white working class can unify with other working classes if there is enough pressure put on them, basically. And sure. I think I don't think it's unreasonable to think that the pressure of climate change and stuff might be the thing that pushes that kind of to happen, pushes that to the breaking point. It's I mean, it's not unreasonable to think that this idea of like climate change being a literal like world-ending threat could actually push people towards that kind of thing. And it's like yeah, sure, it's maybe it's slightly hopeful, but I mean,
I wish, I mean, like, the amount of people that like I can like, there are still people in my immediate like area that I can think of that are like, oh yeah, climate change isn't real.
I live in a more enlightened country, I guess.
You certainly do. I mean, like, it's not even just like it's a few people, right? Like, I mean, there's serious debate. I mean, mostly it falls across like age lines, but there's like serious talk about like, oh, it's all just a liberal conspiracy.
Okay, like, so what we need a unifying factor for the working class to
liberals, hating liberals, they are the worst.
I guess. I don't know.
I admit, Dreg, or whatever his name, whatever how you pronounce his name, J-Reg, sure, he pushes the anti-center thing. I, however, think that that's ridiculous. I think we need to start working to kill the mole people. The mole people are the problem. We can all work together. Us terrestrials, you need to unite against the undergrounders, because they're the problem.
In reality, that might be just the conspiracy theory that we need, right? Like, who knows?
Right, yeah. I mean, they are prone to magical thinking and conspiracy theories. The globalists and the Illuminati and the Rothschilds. We can get them on board. We just need a new one.
This is the thing that kills me about that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna like stop talking so much after this, but you just said something that like I love. The Illuminati conspiracy is exceptionally frustrating to me because it's like it's not secret. There's like a bunch of capitalists.
Yeah.
Right there. Like this isn't like a conspiracy. They're just here. You don't have to make it this magical, weird alien lizard people thing. They're capitalists and they have names.
No, they worship Moloch, the owl god, and they gather in forests in Northern California once a year.
Jeez,
does everybody caught up on their Alex Jones conspiracies? I hope so.
Absolutely not.
Like, Alex Jones is a thing. I thought he was gone. I thought he would fucking vanished.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm talking like, I'm talking 2000s Alex Jones.
Well,
When all
I know gay frogs, and that's about it. I know the gay
the-
frogs.
that's new Alex Jones.
Same.
That's yeah. We're talking vintage Alex Jones here.
Yeah.
We gotta. This is the classics, the
Yeah,
classical hits.
The class,
Gotta-
the classics are the best. That's the creme de la creme. The first album.
God, that would be a shitty album.
Speaking of, while we're on you, Gushin, tell us about why you are trapped in Steven Crowder's basement. What has happened to you?
Well, I mean, obviously you can see from the red lighting, it's basically quite similar to hell. But Steven Crowder was nice enough with the recent events to lend me his basement. He recently posted how he wanted to help all of the YouTubers, regardless of what we believed in, and I took him on that. Yeah, he's very kind. You know what? He looks worse on camera. Once you meet him in person, great person.
Okay.
Like legitimately, like you can have a real conversation with him. You just ignore it half of what he says. But yeah, so he's let me have his basement. It's been really fun. I had to leave my homeland because a small, like anarcho-Stalinist pig kicked me out with the help of a fucking cowboy. So that's been a real nightmare. And I just,
have against you?
well, I don't know. I hosted him recently, and then he just turned on me. Apparently, he didn't like me being an anarchist. He thought that was too little, to help the working class of the world. So I was as surprised as anybody when it happened. And I've seen the cancel Gushin going around.
Yeah, it's gathering steam.
Yeah, some people have been saying how Gushin, I threw people against a wall with my television with my mind powers, that's true occasionally, but I don't do it to anybody who doesn't deserve it. It's only fascists that I throw against walls with my mind powers.
Anarchists would say that.
Yeah, I just this whole call out culture thing is getting getting ridiculous. We have to seek refuge in the conservatives' basements to get away from it. It's ridiculous. But out of character, yeah, I legitimately, people have asked me to make like a call out culture video, and I don't have a lot to say on it because I think it's dumb, and that's about all I can really say for it. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna make a really stupid little saga of videos of like kind of trying to outline the fact of how batshit insane it is to like do all these like purity testing and like this like requirement of like, oh, every communist has to be my kind of communist or they're not a good communist and they can get out. Like I buy into that a little bit. Like I don't like tankies, but I would still work
anybody in particular here.
No, nobody in particular. I don't. That's the thing. I saw. Holy shit! I said no names. I will never ever do a name drop on someone because that's call out fucking culture. I'm not an idiot. But someone did a video calling out other people for calling out people, and I saw that and I was like, this is like fucking 8 layers deep of call out culture at this point. Like, how many times can you like do that? And it's legitimately boring as shit. It's boring. That's the biggest issue. It's call out culture is really boring. It's really bad, and I just don't. Yeah, I don't see what the point is.
Well, wait, this isn't Peter Coffin's videos, is it?
Peter Coffin? No, I love Peter Coffin.
Okay, because he'll talk about call outs as a bad tool. So he's not really centering in on individuals so much as he's saying it's
he's very. I like his style of thing because he very much, if he ever does a single targeted thing, he'll like do like a minute on that tops, and then he'll start moving that to like, okay, here's the actual important conversation about like the systemic thing or the overarching issues rather than the individual issue, because the individuals are mostly pointless, really. I mean, you don't really need to focus on a single individual ever, really. I mean, they're all symptomatic of something else.
Right.
But yeah, so even
real quick, hey Steven.
Yep.
Can we get Cloudy in here?
Yeah, I thought we did. I thought I invited him. Can I try again? Hold on.
Yep. All right, cool.
Oop, that's the wrong link. Shoot. Where'd he go?
All right, continue on. Sorry, I just interrupted that, but
No, it needed to be done.
okay,
I needed to be stopped.
that's fine. You did. I mean, right? Someone had to cancel you.
Call out culture.
I
Yep.
just, at least I'm on the bandwagon for that one. So if anybody in the future, if I ever get big enough that people actually do want to cancel me, I've been there, done that. I'm already the owner of that hashtag. Like, you can't touch that. You can't take that from me. That's the dream. That's what
Okay.
that's what everyone wants.
I've invited him again. Hopefully
All right.
he gets it this time.
Cool.
Does he have Hangouts? Google Hangouts? If he doesn't, make sure he does.
Probably.
But yeah, I mean, just also while we're just moving on to that, I was going to ask you guys something about it. But how do you lot feel specifically about those response videos to certain like alt writers or whatever?
Like Natalie Wynn's old styles.
Yeah, like a lot of the all of them did like all their old videos were very much like response based stuff and like that kind of thing. To like specific examples of like alt right thinkers.
I really think they're valuable. At least like I've sent specific videos like that to like my like aunt or like a friend because like I have some conservative and like politically kind of fluid people that are just kind of going wherever, and they'll say, "Hey, have you seen this?" Like the Lauren Southern video about the Great Replacement and stuff. Like I think literally like anytime someone brings up something like that, I just show them Sean's video.
Yeah.
So debunking alt-right talking points, I think definitely has value.
Yeah, it's just I feel I guess as I started doing some response videos and I just can't be I just stopped wanting to do them because it just felt like everything that could be said about these people has already been said by somebody else, and I could just direct them to their videos to debunk their stuff. Like there's not the alt-right aren't saying anything new, so why should people make new content dealing with them? Like there's no new shit coming out there. It's all just the same old crap that you can just point to previous videos to debunk if you wanted to.
I largely agree, but I do every once in a while I see some things maybe more on the economic side, on the right-wing economic side, where they where I kind of wish there was a better video that summarized or debunked things a little more succinctly from like. Does anybody know the channel Freedom Tunes?
No.
Anyway, they put out. Yeah, it's like a right wing. It's a conservative fucking cartoon video essay thing, and it's pretty popular. And my buddy shows me things like this, and so I end up writing essays in paragraphs on fucking Facebook, debunking myself and like going up and doing a bunch of research, and whereas it might be a lot easier and more effective if something was already kind of pre-made for that on YouTube. So I don't know. Sometimes I still find the urge to have something ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely specific situations that could probably still use response videos. Like, I mean, someone in the chat mentioned 3 hours. 3 hours is a great example where we didn't really have people doing historical debunking. So him doing that is a new thing that
3 hours
is
amazing, right?
So
oh god,
yeah, him using historical knowledge as a way to debunk them relying on historical situations is a new way of taking them down that isn't just the same old like. Yeah, I say like if you wanted an economical responses, that would be different and new, and that would be cool. I don't see many of those.
Yeah.
So there's free content. Someone wants to do that.
Lots of people are still saying, they're hanging on to the argument that there's no evidence that inequality is bad because look, we have fridges now. Poor people have this, that, and the other, and their incomes are either they're all on average lifted and all this stuff. So. Inequality is a big one, and explaining why that's actually a fucking bad thing.
All right, send that invite one more time.
Okay, one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inequality is an interesting one of like, it's one of those kind of things where it's like it's weird that people seem to just accept that it exists, or that it should exist.
Right.
I guess it's one of the things where like when I think about it, I try to think like how would somebody be okay with that. I don't see the real reason why anyone who isn't like stupidly rich would be okay with inequality. Like, there's no real particular reason I can think of. If anyone has anything, has everyone's got any particular reason why they think someone could buy into that, please help. It's hard. I don't know. I can't see that point, that side of view, I guess.
I think there's this idea that, at least here, there's this idea that somehow if you're wealthy, you've worked for it.
Right.
And
yeah, that meritocracy, they fucking all believe that nonsense.
yeah, I mean, and it's just absolutely a huge disaster, right? I mean, there's you know, it's granted, it is still like, you know, you've worked for it, but like there's basic, I mean, like I remember before I was a good leftist, my thought was, okay, well, you know what, I should just be, you know, like rent houses and stuff, like be a landlord, because like that seems to be like like I can fix a bunch of stuff and you know, I can make a bunch of money that way. And so it's clear that owning a business or being like a small business owner or whatever is sort of like, if you can be the boss, that's the best. That's the way forward, right? But the like what that actually means and entails and like how you're generating wealth and the fact that you're exploiting other people just to get that's completely just glossed over. And so then you have this idea of, you know, the business owner is this like, you know, poor whatever person who just somehow managed to take out $150,000 loan to like start this business, or like, you know, I think a lot of it just basically boils down to there's no understanding whatsoever of how wealth is actually generated, aside from like how it's generated off the backs of other people, you know?
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. The entrepreneurial kind of like mythology is real strong here, you know?
So how do we undermine that?
I think you just explain how wealth is created, like on some level, you know,
Primitive accumulation.
something.
Get out your marks.
Yeah. Like you know, enough people have it bad enough that like, I think you can start to say like, so my sister, for example, the other day, who is not a communist, as far as I know, was saying something she was talking about Jeffree Star, who is like a makeup guy. I don't know if you guys know who Jeffree Star is.
Yeah.
But so she's talking about he has this vault filled with all this fancy stuff, you know, it's like millions upon millions upon millions of dollars of stuff. And she just said, no one could work hard enough to have whatever they've done be worth that.
Nah, that's true.
Right. And it was just like, oh, girl, you were real close. Like, you know, like, it was just like, oh, just one more step, baby. One more. Come on. Like, just go, come on. You know, like, and I think that emotion is like really something that's like starting to become apparent. The inequality is so staggering. There's nothing Bezos or, you know, Gates or any of these people could possibly have done that's worth whatever amount of money they're worth.
Yeah. Oh my fuck.
You know,
I saw that thing with like
works. I think
when they were talking about like Jeff Bezos and his like his divorce he was going through.
Yeah.
And they were saying like, oh, like, well, I saw I had some people working with me who were like, oh, like it's crazy, like they're gonna break, like when they break off, like she's gonna take half of all that he's ever made, and it's $25 billion.
Boo-hoo.
And it's like, I was like, that still leaves him with 25 billion, which is like more than I think almost anybody I've ever met will ever cumulatively own in their entire lives. Like that seems like, I mean, who really gives a shit?
Yeah,
That seems
wow.
really. it was crazy because everyone was like, I saw like news was blowing up as well, being like, oh, Bezos is like going for a breakup and he's gonna take all his money because he didn't sign a prenup and all that jazz. And I was like, I like legitimately, like, I wish that maybe we as a group of people should go and take all of the money from him and then give it to somebody. I don't know. Maybe there's a plan in there somewhere. We can all marry Jeff Bezos and then all take a little bit of money from him. And
yeah. So the issue with this is that if you take half every time, like, hang on, let's see, does that series converge? I think it does. Hang on, I've had a glass of wine and now I can't do math. Whoops.
No, it's fine. We embrace polyamory, polyamorous marriages, and then we all,
yeah.
like I said, all the people, the 99% marry Jeff Bezos or a billionaire, and then we all break up with them, and that we take all a little bit of money from each one, and that way, you know, it's legalized marriage wealth redistribution.
There you go.
And this is part of my new kind of communism, polyamorous communism. I
like it.
Nice.
That's part of my new series I'm working on. All right, who's next? Who's got anything else? Go. Host people.
What?
Luke, why don't you bring up what you had to say about Vanguardism?
I guess now is as good a time as any. So do you want the whole like background, or just like introduce the question sort of the same way?
Yeah, introduce the
and
question
then respond. Is that
about it?
Okay? So I was thinking about it so I, by identification, I suppose, am an anarchist. Generally, that's how I think of myself, which to me just means a critique. Like, one of the primary critiques that I'm gonna and views that I'm gonna take on anything is look at the hierarchy. Is it justified? If it is, okay, whatever. But if not, we have to fix this. I definitely consider myself more of like a social like book-chin anarchist, if you will. But one of the ideas that I had that was kind of wrong is I was understanding the Vanguard Party in the Soviet Union. I've been doing a bunch of research on the Soviet Union, trying to understand like what was going down, like why did it break up, whatever. And so I was watching this video on that topic. And one of the things that came up was this idea of the Vanguard Party. And my idea of that had been just this very kind of like, while there were very centralized like kind of organizational structures in the Soviet Union, I think the idea of the Vanguard Party, like if you look at the material context, you've got a bunch of peasants who are illiterate and uneducated. And it seems like a really bad idea if you're waging a revolution or like an insurrection to have somebody in control of like just a tactical like unit or something, that
or even the Ministry of Transportation,
that like can't read a map,
right?
You know, so like if you look at that material context, it's like, okay, let's actually like set people up to succeed, and let's, you know, have somebody who can read be like kind of our correspondent or our like a point person for this or whatever. And so if you think about it that way, I think it sort of makes sense, this idea of the Vanguard Party. But so the way that I think communication and the material context is different from, you know, the Soviet Union until now, in that mostly everybody can read. Maybe not everybody is educated, but mostly everybody can read. And I think what happens now is that instead of people lacking access to information, to hide the information, the kind of capitalist class just slams us with all the information. And so you can't have, like, it's hard for people to kind of filter through all this information and come up with like an understanding of what's kind of going on. Like, you know, exactly like I was talking about earlier with the kind of, you know, conservative or right-wing understanding of how wealth is created that I used to have. You know, well, I should be a landlord, but, you know, I hadn't investigated any of these things because all the information I had just ingested was the propaganda on some level.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wonder what is the place of kind of like, I don't place a lot of value. I mean, the academic approach to thing can be useful. I don't know that I think that people in academia should be necessarily the leaders of a movement, because a lot of smart people have this, like, they just want to kind of disagree with each other. Like, this is how academia works, is you just sort of sit in a room and argue. And for fun. I mean, you do this for fun. too. Like, it's not just like they sit in a room and they argue. Like, you sit in a room and you just say an opinion and then argue about it just for fun. And like, that's cool, but like, we need shit to get done. You know, so I'm kind of like curious, like what might this idea of could we take this idea of the Vanguard Party and apply it towards our current material conditions? And if so, what might that look like? That was sort of the question that I've been sort of mulling around for the last few days, and I have no answers. I'm entirely ignorant. Teach me, sensei.
In that video that you watched, and I'm pretty sure I saw the same one. Did they when the Soviets took over? Did they take advantage of the bureaucrats that had been around ahead of time and just kind of keep them in their spot, or did they purge everything and start anew?
I don't remember.
Because I mean, you may have to consider something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna keep the state at first, at least, something like that. I'm sure you'd keep a lot of the bureaucracy. It would just be the people leading it that you would have to really change, and everybody else would just fall in line in theory.
Yeah. I feel like it's
because that's what a bureaucracy is designed to do.
Yeah. The biggest issue I always have with that is it's like, how do you fall into using pre-existing structural sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Pre-existing infrastructure for that kind of like bureaucratic control, and not end up falling into the exact same traps that existed with that infrastructure or currently in place. I mean, how do you not?
Exactly.
I mean, like I said, like that was one of probably the biggest examples of like, I think a lot of more authoritarian communist kind of thinking with like that kind of like status stuff was that quite often they would move in, they would use the current existing state, and then it would just kind of end up, the same problems would end up coming up again. It would just be this time it's the communists in charge rather than the capitalists in charge, and it's just the same issues always still arose. And it's just, I feel like you'd have to critically go through and be like, what infrastructure do we need to keep, and what infrastructure is unnecessary and is only there to serve purposes that we don't want to have to serve anymore. I mean, that would be probably an important thing to go through and fix.
Yeah, that's well. Who was the intellectual in the Cuban Revolution?
Che Guevara?
Che and Castro. I mean, they were both kind of upper middle class, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah.
Che definitely was.
A doctor. Yeah, he was a doctor.
Che definitely was.
Right. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's definitely like they were intelligent enough, and also like because of the fact that were born into rich families, they had the access to materials to be able to educate themselves to be able to like lead, kind of thing. And I mean, it's probably because you kind of have leaders arise from two normal situations, which is either like charisma or learning. So like you can kind of learn to be a leader, or you can be born charismatic enough, or your character can be charismatic enough that you can kind of avoid all the learning stuff and just, you know, you were elected to lead, not to read.
Sure.
Kind of thing. I got into leftism through the kind of Marx route and learning vaguely about the Soviet Union. So from my perspective, that I'm less kind of against the whole idea of a Vanguard Party and having the state around, at least at the beginning, in the beginning stages. I mean, although there's lots of good arguments against it, but material the historical context is really important, and I can't imagine a scenario where say Canada or the US goes completely socialist all of a sudden, and there's some big revolution, and I can't imagine a scenario where the US or China or all the other powers in the world don't fight to stop that somehow. And you would probably need the apparatus of a state. I mean, this isn't Vietnam is a good example where you may not need it, but this isn't Vietnam anymore, and I don't think you could really make that comparison. I think you would still need that?
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess
at the minimum, I
God.
said a bunch. You guys go first.
No,
in terms of interfacing with like our current system, wouldn't one of the most direct goals to getting that kind of thing across be really pushing for efforts to get money out of politics? Because if we could remove or limit in some way capitalism's ability to interface with our electoral systems, or wouldn't that give us more room to take the power back? And wouldn't any, I mean, electoral politics is kind of iffy as whether or not that can really be changed by as much as we need it to, but isn't that kind of a thing that we could work on now? And can we do anything if we don't, short of a violent revolution?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's so many. The problem is like I keep seeing this like being passed around and like all of like the like leftist streams.
Hey, we got another guy.
Oh shit!
Comrade.
Jet.
Finally, what is up, guys?
There we go. Okay. Have you been following along?
This took fucking forever. I've been trying to, but also troubleshooting. But here we go, finally. Okay, I'll listen for a second. Get caught up.
Okay, Dad. Goose, why don't you finish what you're saying?
So I was gonna say, yeah. So you keep seeing this like being like passed around over and over and over again, and it's like everyone seems to be asking like, how do we get this revolution? Like, how do we get to like this stage? And it's like, nobody has a fucking answer. I've seen so many different kinds of answers, but every single one of them doesn't seem to really work, or I don't see how you would get to that answer working. And it just feels like, I feel like what it needs is it needs the same thing that happened for capitalism becoming the big thing, which is there needs to be some massive world-changing event that allows for a change in systems to actually occur. And it's probably going to involve a lot of people dying. It's probably going to involve a lot of shit going down, because that's exactly what happens in these big world-changing moments. But it happening might be the only way for something to actually change. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, historically, the odds are not in a peaceful transition's favor.
No,
not at all. But what do people think of? I think I may have brought this up last time, but like the ideal kind of Labour Party wins UK scenario in the next election, and you know, let's say they all of a sudden start really promoting cooperatives and getting the whole, let's say that takes off in popularity, and the whole population like starts to like the idea of working democracy at work, and then, you know, maybe more things start getting nationalized, the private sector starts shrinking. Is there a case to be made for that bringing the revolution that we're looking for?
I mean, I think that if we use historical examples for this one, and I'm sure someone else who is actually smart will disagree with me, but
that's what smart people do.
That's but like the whenever we have a period of progression or a period of change and that kind of thing, quite often that's when you'll see the biggest reaction or the biggest reactionary stuff pop up. So I think that while the co-op movement would be good and all that stuff would be great, I feel like the chances that will kind of inevitably see a like big uptick of like conservatives moving further right even more than they are now, because they'll be like, oh no, there's co-ops coming in, like we need to, like, maybe those Nazis aren't looking so bad after all, like they're not, you know, at least they're not communists or socialists. And I think that yet again you'll have the exact same violent fighting at some point.
The answer is protracted people's war followed by cultural revolution, as Chairman Mao intended.
Word.
I mean, the thing is that is entirely probably where it's going to go. I mean, that's what happened in Germany post World War One, pre World War Two. There was, you know, everyone's kind of, the pre World War One there was like big arguments of like, oh, here's the fascist people and here's the communist peoples, and they fight each other, and then who's going to be the winners in Germany? And it was the fascists. They won, but I mean, yeah, it could have gone socialist, but it didn't, and they lost, and they all went to England.
I think it's a really bad idea to
So
wait
I-
for
yeah.
climate change to be the thing, like the issue that really incites that in people, because it gets bad enough that like American working class realizes that it or just can't deny it anymore. We're going to be pretty much screwed. Like there might not be a way to come back at that point. So we've got to find something before that.
Right. I guess it's something where it's like, yeah, the climate waiting for climate change may be a bad thing, but I mean, we might not even need to wait for climate change. There could be any possible event that might happen that might push us into that kind of thing.
Economic crisis, yeah.
Yeah, I say like it could be. There's so many different possible like scenarios from the past that we've seen. Like even a positive one, can be the thing that pushes for a massive status change. Because I mean, that was the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was the thing that basically made capitalism the system. Like up until that point, it was mostly still like feudal monarchy stuff. But Industrial Revolution made the bourgeoisie. They were the big dogs now. They had all the money. They had all the resources. They were the ones owning slaves and stuff. But well, workers. But like that was. I don't know. I think like it's going to be a big, scary thing that's going to happen, and that will be what actually leads to revolution. And who knows what it's going to be? Maybe it's robots. Maybe it's not people.
I have a feeling the cataclysm is coming within the next 5 years. I think the next economic crash is likely to happen soon, maybe even before Trump gets out of office. I mean, in 2020, just because the fundamentals of the American economy and most economies are so sketchy in terms of public debt, corporate debt, personal debt, credit card debt, things, and just the fact that technology is going to take away so many jobs. We don't have UBI yet. There's nothing in place to really cushion this next coming crisis, and it's going to come. But we and they haven't been doing the work needed after the 2008 crisis to mitigate the next crash.
It's been accelerating. I mean, they've been making it just like it's just going to be worse.
Yeah, and I think that might be the time. That might be the time when things either go very far right or far left, or a mix of both, and shit's going to hit the fan. But Jet, why don't you introduce yourself to the people, and tell us a bit about your channel and what you're doing.
All right, so hello everybody. My name is Jet Cloud, and you can find me. That is my real name. That's also my channel name is Jet Cloud. And so really what inspired me to start with YouTube is I used to do a podcast when I kind of like discovered socialism. I'd say, went away to college, all of that. Became kind of like little tanky-ish, just got a little overzealous about like what I was learning and everything like that. Say that again?
Who are you listening to get you a bit tanky-ish?
To get me there? Well, actually, it was a lot of Twitter and Reddit. Honestly, just a lot of like r/communism, which is interesting stuff to say the least. But going through all that kind of made me a little tanky. I read some books about the first book I ever read after the Communist Manifesto. Actually, was the first like socialist book I read was Foundations of Leninism by Joseph Stalin himself. Actually. Which I did find helpful. I do think it clarified a lot about what Marxism-Leninism was.
He's a smart guy.
And no, he's not stupid. I'm not saying that. No, I will not say that. But no, he was intelligent. And then kind of just coming to a more sophisticated, nuanced understanding of socialism and what my motivations were for like flocking to this ideology. I think I realized a lot that there's a lot of things that are very romantic in a way, but are just one of my next videos I want to talk about like the LARPing left and just people who are much more satified from getting instant gratification from claiming like whatever cultural signifier. I mean, I can't really speak right now. I have this shirt on. I can't say that much. But however, perfect example, but just like grabbing onto cultural signifiers, just like the term virtue signaling, which like the right accuses like liberals of doing with like communists, like Marxist virtue signaling of just talking about like the labor theory of value and you need to go read Capital and like clash about all these other things. And I don't think it really means anything to people. Like for me, I'm 21 years old. Like I was not alive for any part of the Soviet Union being an existing country. And it just so much of it doesn't really of what I find a lot of socialists caught up, like Trotskyists and Marxist Leninists just really caught up in things that don't matter. Like, I think for our future, for what we're facing in the age of, the internet, in the age of climate change being a very real threat, and in the age of the American empire being the only game in town, and now the rise of China, it's a completely fucking different situation. I really don't give a fuck about if Stalin killed Trotsky or if fucking what the fuck ever happened. It just doesn't, none of that matters to me. It doesn't matter to anybody I know who are the people we need to appeal to get any sort of mass movement at all. Like, we're not really, and particularly for America, it's a very tricky situation because the class consciousness of Americans is extremely low. We're very obsessed with race in a way that is like very intertwined with class, and it makes our understanding. I think Americans have a particularly advanced understanding of race in that Americans are racist in a very advanced way. I was just for the past couple months, I was in Europe, I was in Spain, and I traveled a lot. I traveled around and stuff, and I definitely faced a lot of like racism, but it's just very different where in America, there's like a whole culture around racism. Like, people, like, it is just very, very well mixed in. It's a very American thing, and we've developed it to a very significant level.
Fine wine.
Yeah, it's fine wine, really fine wine. And it's just replaced any discussion about class. And so I think so many Americans are so ignorant of like the political spectrum. Even my friends who have more leftist sensibilities, but like all they really know to cling on to is Bernie Sanders, which I'm not like knocking or anything, just saying they don't know where else to go. They don't know what else like this socialism thing is. And they're always hesitant, even when I try to like bring them to it. So with my channel, really, I just want to inform people on like leftist ideas and try to help shape like what the leftist education should be in 21st century America, basically. My overarching goal with my channel.
Jet, have you been following the kind of debate on Lefttube in terms of intersectionality and class reductionism and that stuff? I'm curious.
I'm aware, like, in the greater context of like the left online, yeah, like I've definitely something I've seen before, but particularly on YouTube or on like the RedTube subreddit or something, not necessarily, no.
So then what role do identity politics or intersectionality do you think should play? Because I mean, it is true that class alone won't solve all our problems, and that we do have to kind of understand that different people are oppressed in different ways by capitalism. But then at the same token, we can't forget class, and we can't just turn into liberal identity politics trolls. So what are your thoughts on your expanded thoughts on that?
All right, so this is something I want to make one of my next YouTube videos on. It's very tricky because I do think there's a lot of problems with. Let me say, I don't want to say in any way identity politics are inherently bad or inherently incompatible or shouldn't be in the same sphere as like leftist socialist movements. I think it's important. And I think there are a lot of like kind of hardline old school Marxists, like I was talking about, people kind of more like tanky left and stuff like that, who take a very non-nuanced stance on it in critiquing identity politics. However, there definitely is a problem where identity politics have like come from a place that did have like a radical beginning. I mean, very many Black intellectuals come from leftist, socialist, communist, anarchist backgrounds and have very strong systematic critiques of things that ultimately, once they enter the mainstream and people like, the DNC can look and see that this message is popular with people, they can co-opt it and take away any sort of radical message or radical framing that it had in the first place. And that's actually a problem. I don't have an issue with identity politics like in a place of good faith. It's just like more establishment politicians and media companies and other organizations using identity politics to really just further their oppression, but just make it seem like things are more inclusive now. However, not fundamentally changing anything.
I mean, Pride Parade, anyone?
Exactly. No, that's the exact thing. People who wouldn't have cared about the oppression of gay people 10 years ago before it was popular, people who are contributing to an economic framework which keeps particularly trans people in impoverished communities in very dangerous conditions, who don't care at all about solving the problems that lead to oppression of LGBT people. It's just, you can get hella retweets if you say Happy Pride Month.
Yeah, every corporation worth its salt has a pride version of their logo on for the whole fucking month. That's how you know you've lost, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of these things, I mean, like Pride, I mean, as well as a lot of like how Jet was saying, like there's a lot of these things had very radical beginnings. It's just that it gets co-opted and watered down so hard that it's just like, this ain't it.
But that was my whole argument about, not my whole argument. That was a part of my argument about intersectionality, was that Kimberly Crenshaw did talk about class, but then like everyone after her has kind of, near as I can tell, shoved it to the side, and also put class on an even playing field with all the other oppressions, as if it was just one of any items we can just focus on any times, when really it's kind of the like Mark says, it's the base that creates the cultural superstructure which feed and create all the other oppressions.
Yeah, I mean, it might be, in the case of the United States, it might honestly be colonialism. I can't tell yet. I'm still like working through that argument myself.
But colonialism is so similar to capitalism. I mean, it kind of, because it was an economic system.
Sure.
So really, colonialism is a base in itself.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like in the United States, like I seriously think that like if the people in the United States could like shut down the military, like socialism might actually work like in other places. And I feel like like leftists in the US, I feel like seriously our job is to just like shut down the military as much as we possibly can.
Fuck yes.
Just like run interference somehow without getting killed.
Fuck yes.
Well, imagine we had a time machine and we could just go back to even back to just 1900 and just not participate in any of the coups that we did, and just see how socialist the world would be now. It'd be insane. Yeah. So many countries went left that we just stamped out. Like socialism was working. They say socialism doesn't work. Well, we fucking put a boot on it every single time it popped up.
And you know what? Very importantly about that is, within the United States, a lot of the socialist movements, which were coming from primarily the Black community, a lot of marginalized communities, were wiped out. Every time anything seriously happened, where there was any sort of serious anti-capitalist multiracial coalition against capitalism, it was erased. That's when Martin Luther King was assassinated. That's when Fred Hampton was assassinated. Just every single leader from the socialist left.
Can we have a moment of silence for Fred Hampton?
Support.
Oh God.
Support. But it's just within the United States, on this territory, every time it's been wiped out. Same thing we do in other countries. It's done domestically.
Yeah.
What about New Zealand? Have you guys been stamping out socialist revolutions?
Not particularly. We don't really have a communist kind of base support base over here. Really, it's very focused on. Like I said, like our Overton window is much further to the side than you guys, much more to the left. Yeah. In that, like, we have most of our benefits, most of our like welfare and everything is generally just accepted as that is the way things are. Like it's never really like heavily criticized, and it's never like seen as like any kind of all welfare is bad kind of thing. It doesn't really get into thinking that much.
Hey, can we be good streamers and address some of the chat?
So
fuck them.
We're the Vanguard party. We don't gotta pay attention to them.
Oh my God,
they're the plebs. I don't give a shit.
Oh God.
So Alienated TV asked in the chat, isn't the point to be co-opted to a certain extent, gay marriage, etc.?
There's a difference between co-opted and fuck, what's the word? Not immersed, but like, brought into the culture. Like there's like co-opted would be like you you like co-option of like something is like you take their inherent message and you twist and change it so that it suits whatever you want them, whatever you want them to match for your own personal
goals,
message.
yeah.
So like gay marriage, like gay people is a good example of like, oh, like sure, like way back when, like it used to be very much like gay people used to be that kind of like way out, and no one would really support them at all. And now they're basically in the kind of sphere of like, oh, we can market gay stuff to people. We can market Queer Eye is a great example of fucking gay marketing.
Oh, totally.
That's neoliberalism.
I was watching Queer Eye, and I was like, just like,
before we just like totally shit on Queer Eye. Okay, Bobby does all the work. I just want to put that out there. Like that poor guy, seriously. Like, I mean, I realize he has teams of like many people, but like the amount. How do you even redo houses like that in like 3 days?
That's
like,
do you know how they redo? The thing is, like, from Queer Eye, what I saw in that was here's a bunch of gay people fixing people's lives and shit, and it's great because they have these really good social conversations with people, and they did like here's a one with them and the Trump supporter, yada yada. Who gives a shit? But every single time they had this thing of it being like, now hey, we're gonna fix your life, and we're gonna fix your life by using the only magical thing in the world, money, baby. We're gonna fix up your house, we're gonna fix up your like hairstyle, we're gonna fix your clothing. And like how much money is going into each episode to like make these guys' lives better? Just using money. Like it's always about, it comes down to how much money can we throw at somebody before they become a better person.
It's peak neoliberalism.
Yeah. And it's like taking that message about gay people and using it as a conveyor of capitalism. Like that's what it is. So that's co-opting. Like co-opting is you take that and you just basically turn it into like a little like train that carries your capitalism to more marginalized groups, and that's how co-opting is bad.
Not only that, but in those shows, you pay for clothes, you pay for a makeover and a new haircut. You pay for these things, you buy these products, and you are rewarded with confidence, and your life is better after this. So it's really just it's a big advertisement for.
I mean,
capitalism.
It's massive propaganda.
I'm not defending liberalism, okay, but there is some part some part of Queer Eye too, where I mean, it's not, obviously, yes, you throw a bunch of money at stuff and it gets better, but there is also parts of it too where, I mean, a lot of the people they talk to are just like really kind of just need to go to therapy, I mean, so maybe that's like another money thing too as well. I guess I'm defeating myself.
That's also it's another personal responsibility answer, though. I mean, it might be true.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of the sorry.
No, you go ahead. I basically Bobby does so much goddamn work. Okay,
you've clearly got to think for Bobby, but we need to. So there's like a really like inherent stuff there as well. As like a lot of those problems though are like a lot of people were like, oh, this person's had a really rough time, like they've lost like their like and stuff. It's like, yeah, but why? Like, can we not fix those problems in ways that don't involve just capitalist stuff? Like, isn't there like more inherent issues underlying this that isn't just like, oh, this person is feeling sad, they just need to like redo themselves to get a new kind of take on life and everything? It's like, well, I mean, that's great and all, but where did all those clothes come from? Do those clothes where were all those clothes coming from? Fucking what's his name? Clove guy.
I don't know their names.
I know Jonathan's hair dude. Bobby's houseman. Como's talkie person. I completely forgotten. I watched the show too. But like, what are those clothes? When you like see those clothes and they're like, oh, try on these other clothes. It's like you're like, yeah, but where were those clothes made? Who made those clothes? What was the like? Yeah, like is like okay. So all the exploited labor going into this is like that's just gonna get pushed to the side and ignored. And it's like but no, because I mean it's helping someone's life be better. Like it's okay that these kids were exploited because they helped make this old lady who husband died 10 years ago. She finally regained the confidence. It's like right. I guess that's fair. All right, we sacrificed the innocence of a bunch of children for that. That's wonderful. I'm really happy.
Fine.
Give up. Your shows are bad.
Fine.
Every TV show is bad.
Your faves are problematic.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Oh, all of them. Yeah. Game of Thrones? Jesus Christ.
I don't
Oh
watch
my!
that.
The end of Game of Thrones, where he was like, "Hey, maybe we should have all the people work together and vote, and decide our own future." And they're all just like, "Fuck off with that dumb shit!" Like, no, we're gonna just have a fucking oligarchy, a noble oligarchy. Like, that's so much cleaner. It's like, sure, yeah, I guess. Fuck the poor people who died to dragons and the undead for fucking years just so you guys could talk around a fucking table.
Also, the only communist revolutionary on the show, Daenerys Targaryen, turned out to be Stalin on steroids. So that's
she was really Hitler the whole time. See?
Yes, exactly. Nazbols. The whole
Nazbol gang.
that whole show. It's just horseshoe theory. Nazbol gang.
I think, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, it's crazy. I think like almost every TV show, when you like start looking into them seriously, they start having. Problems.
Yeah, it's all capitalist propaganda. I mean, everything on TV is capitalist propaganda, straight up.
Now, there's got to be one of few. There's got to be some show out there that should have to be one. Surely.
Do you guys watch Chernobyl?
No.
Nobody see it.
I read something today that it was that it was propaganda.
Yeah, I think I probably posted it.
Oh yeah, that was you. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I do what I can.
It's a safe assumption. I mean, there's towards the end it gets very like preachy. It gets extremely preachy.
Yeah, they just kind of misrepresented how actual the Soviets lived in the 80s.
It's a very they had a plan. Like they had a very clear agenda going into it. It ramps up into a very much like big government bad, communism bad. Like that's how it is. It's big government communism bad. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about
the chat real quick in the chat, Comrade Detective. Have any of you seen Comrade Detective?
No.
Oh my god.
Wait,
good or bad? I've got no idea.
Is that like the Jonah Hill show?
No. It's like an old like made up. Who was it? It's like they took like this old like Romanian movie and like redid it or something, but they had like Nick Offerman and I think like Jake Gyllenhaal or something like dub over these things and no, it was Channing Tatum. It was Channing Tatum.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
That stuff's real funny. So yeah, I mean, check that out. That was funny.
I mean, that's like part of the story. Yeah, it's like it's not like
yeah. Also, if we want to quickly just on that note of like how big business is the bad thing that does all the nuclear things and it's bad therefore for that. A great counter to that one that I don't know if many Americans know about it, but if it's an Australian example, there's this. I look up her name, but it's this batshit insane like lady who inherited a ton of money from her farming like parents and shit. And she is Ruth. Is it Ruth Bader? No, that's not. No,
RPG.
What the fuck is it? I'll try and look it up. I'll try and look up her name. But basically, she inherited a bunch of money and she's tried to like push into like politics to try and get like right wing, free speech, free fucking market kind of stuff. And one of her proposed plans was to drop a nuclear bomb on Australian soil to create an unnatural harbor, so she could get her ships closer to the her, like coal mines.
What?
That was a literal proposal that got put before the Australian government, and it was like, no. What? No. What? You want to just nuke Australian soil?
The Australians said no, but I bet you that if a Republican proposed that, that could get passed, like in the United States right now.
Oh yeah.
You know,
we could get like South Carolina to nuke itself.
Oh, totally.
All right, we got a plan.
No, wait. Gina Reinhardt. That was her name. Gina Reinhardt.
I know.
Mining magnate and heiress who owns one of the world's richest women.
I've heard of her.
And the richest person in Australia.
She's the richest person in Australia?
Worth 20 billion or some shit. She's worth a lot.
Wow.
Ooh, what about the Fox News guy? He's Australian, right? But he's low-key, he wants to renounce being Australian, right?
He pretends not to be, I think.
Oh, you mean like Rupert Murdoch?
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch. He does still own all of Australian
Yeah,
news,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is insane. Like, definitely. There's a great channel. If you don't watch them, Friendly Geordies. They're like seem really neoliberal, but like they're like all like 90% of their fucking channel is them talking about how bad how bad the corporate control of Australia is, and just like it's like every video is them talking about how bad like corporations owning everything is. So they're really, really hardcore socialists when you start like looking at the message behind it. But yeah, it's like they covered this person. They covered like a bunch of stuff that's really good. Yeah, I'd definitely give them a look if you have a chance. That was me. Someone else, please help.
Hey,
What are people working on in the near future on their channels?
I just need to like so like here's like something that I really honestly just at this point kind of want to help other people make videos. Like that's like honestly what I want to do, because
What capacity?
do what?
What capacity?
In whatever you want. You want me to help you edit? I got you. You want gear? I will get you what I can. Like I mean, like you want, you know, I'm down to like help however I can. You want script advice, you want help with the editing, you want help with like effects, whatever. I'm pretty good at that stuff. I just like right now am not in the mood to like write a bunch of video essays and like post all that stuff.
Really?
And yeah, I hate video essays so much. I literally have that one stupid video essay that I did, and like now I've like read so much since I started making it that I'm like, oh, I already hate this. Like I like it's like almost done, and I'm like, God, everything I said is so stupid, and I hate this. You know, I just like waited too long from like when I like had the idea. Like I still like the idea, and it still looks dope, but like I just hate it. And at this point, it's just like, man, screw this. I have a couple ideas for stuff, but like I really honestly at this point, I just want to help other people do videos. You know,
you can move what you do into other things. Like I think you don't need to do videos if you don't want to do videos. Like I mean, like at the end of the day, you can.
I just hate them so much.
You can move into doing other videos. I mean, it's always good to keep yourself entertained. You need to find your own channel as fun as everyone else does. Otherwise you'll get sick of it soon. So I don't know, maybe look at doing different style content might be an idea. I mean, nobody's channel stays the same. They always change.
Did you not get it like when you're reading? You said all the new stuff that makes you embarrassed about your old stuff. Do you not get inspired to put out some new idea or some new? It doesn't even have to be a video essay.
Yeah, I mean, here's what winds up happening though, right? This is like my specific. So my background is in mathematics, right? So like I want everything to be like you start with axioms and you like build everything from scratch, and that's just like how I think about stuff. And then on top of that, I'm like ADHD as balls, and so like I have a hard time organizing information already, and so like my video essays just turn into this like I'm like literally starting with like I don't know American libertarians and like trying to get them to like. If you start with the axioms of like American libertarianism, really these are self-contradictory. You can get rid of all of them, and then you're really an anarchist communist, you know. But like, it just winds up being like it just went. It's like I don't want this video to be an hour and a half long. And
No.
I'm already bored of me, and like. The editing process is, I mean, like I said, I'm ADHD. The editing process is a disaster. It's so bad, you know, because I have to remember lines. That's hard.
It is hard. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my videos, like.
Yeah, but like your setup is so clean. It's so nice.
Yeah, because
all these like pastels and happy colors. There's happy trees.
My parents happen to have a nice basement with a sweet wingback chair. So
nice.
You're in a basement too. Nice.
I'm in an attic, so screw all you basement dwellers.
Yeah, but what was it? Okay, my point was I can't get through a fucking sentence without stopping 4 times to figure out what my sentence is in the video. Like I don't know how all these other YouTubers are doing it. I cannot remember more than 4 words in a row without fucking.
Like Peter Coffin, he'll like do like sometimes he'll have these like long. I'm just like, bro, how do you?
Peter Coffin goes crazy. Sometimes I'll just wing it and start talking, and then I'll just cut out all the bullshit. It'll take 20 minutes, turn it into like an 8-minute video.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Most of my videos are 5 to 7 minutes long, because I don't care. I get bored. I just give up. I just give up. I just go, fuck, this is a good length.
your takes are fairly long though.
I feel like,
like your video takes.
Videos are really good in like encapsulating an idea in that time frame, though. Like, I never feel like there's something that's been horribly left out. And I know you can't explain a whole idea in like 6 minutes.
Right.
I think you do a pretty good job with it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to think that I am slightly competent. I mean, I'm like starting to the point where I'm like, I have enough people who like my stuff that I'm like, maybe I am good. Maybe I am actually doing something right. It's like, and then like the big voice just being like, no, don't you dare let that don't start thinking like that. That's a bad start. Like, everything you do is shit. Don't forget it. It's like, yeah, you're right. You got it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I hope that I'm doing something right. I mean, shit, I filmed a fucking pig for a minute on a keyboard, so that's a...
I mean, I was riveted by that one. That was good.
Just fucking... That's a way to end it.
You switched up your style, I think. It was so unexpected from your videos, because I've seen a bunch of yours, so that was kind of a nice, like, attention grabber. Because even if it was just a stupid pig, it was like, what's going on here? And I think you had like ominous music going on, or I can't really remember.
It was the Soviet Union national anthem.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Wow. There's like 5 or 6 tankies just right now, just been like, this motherfucker, like called no.
Yeah.
Real quick,
gulag for him.
I'm looking at the chat here.
Yeah.
Again. So Alienated TV said, I still don't get the point that gay pride used to be radical and now they're co-opted. It's not negative to win unless you fetishize being countercultural or something. And that's a fair point, I think. But like the idea, I think, is that especially in the gay community, it's not that it's been co-op, like it's not that it's won, right? It's not that it was like so radical and now it's kind of, I mean, it's certainly more accepted in the mainstream, but it's not that it's been like accepted on its own terms as originally defined. It's been assimilated into the culture in such a way that it's lost all of its sense of being radical in any way whatsoever, and is now I don't think is a threat to the kind of like, it's not a threat to capitalism, it's not a threat to the power structures, it's not a threat to like most of what's going on in the United, like I'm speaking specifically from the United States, right? It's good to have, like, it's progress that we have legal marriage. It's progress that we have more acceptance. Those are good things. But like that, we've sort of traded a revolutionary thing for rainbow capitalism, and I don't think that's good.
Yeah, I think also I think a lot of people miss this, and it's a big one for, but especially the gay rights and feminism too, is that originally they started off trying to be a lot more like, here's a bunch of really crazy stuff. Like feminism was like, hey, here, like, while we're also going for like women's rights, let's also fucking go for like lesbian rights and trans people rights and shit. Like, fuck it, let's do everyone's rights. And then as they started moving on, and gay people as well were like, oh, we'll have like the bi people and the trans people and the everything else. But as they started like moving, like time progressed, they started dropping those people. Like there's a really good series of, it's like a series of stories, or like a series of like a little report kind of thing, like come on, it's like something from black female writers talking about basically how the feminists effectively just chucked or like the black female rights into the fucking bin in the 90s, and they were just like, yeah, no, too hard, get out. Like we just want to get like legitimately it's the same happened with like trans people. They threw gay people threw trans people under the bus in the 80s and 90s to try to make gay rights more palatable. They were like, we can't have all these too unpalatable stuff, so let's just trim it down to just what we can maybe get across and just focus on that. And yeah, sure, you won, but along the way you put a lot of people, like you threw a lot of people under the bus just to get yourself there. Like you worked into the same system where you didn't help everybody, you just helped yourself by the end of the day.
Well, this is one of the things like I talk about in my video series, that it's what it turns out being about is nothing revolutionary, and it ends up being about being validated by the system. Say, finally we made it. The capitalist patriarchy or whatever, they were in the system, we're appreciated, we have a seat at the table. They want a seat at the table. They don't want to they don't want to flip the table anymore. They just want a seat.
Yeah. You give up on your hopes and dreams, so that you can just maybe get by in the current system. And I think that's a really shitty thing to do.
So it shows the power of the system to pit people against each other and throw each other under the bus, just to get a step up on the ladder.
Yay!
Yay!
It's like intersexual capitalism. It's the worst.
Yeah.
I have a question. So, politically, what kinds of backgrounds did everyone come from? Like, what household were you raised in? Was it like far left, centrist, right wing?
I was in my dad grew up around communists. He knew some Marx. He knew a lot of history, and he had a political science degree. I wouldn't call my house a Marxist household because he was just, he had to raise this alone. My mother died young, so we were just living. But whenever I'd ask him about things, or he knew everything about the Russian Revolution there is to know, and he knew lots about history, Cuban Revolution, all kinds of cool things. So I always had it in the back of my head that Marxism was like the right thing. I didn't know really much about it until I got to university and did a poli-sci degree on my own, and finally got to read. Well, actually, no, I read the Communist Manifesto in high school, but finally got to get into some real Marx and some real philosophy at that point. But yeah.
Just morally lucky over here.
Yeah.
Hit that jackpot of having a communist or a communist friendly family.
Yes.
It's the dream.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I think my background is, I would say, probably a little bit more centrist, although my mom is sort of like a closeted socialist. I think at some point she read The Jungle and she was like, oh, this makes sense. And so during my schooling, I read The Jungle, and I talked to her about it, and she was like, yeah, this seems like kind of okay. And so even though my own personal politics, I think probably were more center right, or just it's like the kind of standard white guy thing. You're just sort of disaffected. I'm just apolitical, man. I just
were you edgy?
South Park viewer.
Yeah, it's South Park, exactly. Just kind of this is all stupid and I hate everything. And then some old Jewish guy was like, the 1%, and I was like, what is this? And then it was all just, it was just downhill and to the left from there. So yeah, basically.
So for me, growing up in the American South and also having parents that were in their 40s when they had me, I got a lot of I guess more conservative or traditional upbringing. My father just being that standard Southern Republican conservative type, being socially conservative, financially conservative. My mother being more so socially liberal, but
Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
I remember a lot of her childhood. She hated Bill Clinton so much.
Yeah.
Not
good.
necessarily for political reasons, all the affairs and all of that stuff. So I didn't really get to see her okay with a Democratic president until Obama. And now she hates Trump, so at least that's good. With them being the ages they are, they have some health issues. I was driving my mother to a appointment for her eyes, and we were watching in the car. I think it was the debate of Destiny versus the Serfs. And
Really?
it was so obvious in the car. Yeah, it was good too. It was good. It was really interesting to see like her eyes open, because her generation was so like, you couldn't even talk about socialism. Like, it just wasn't a thing that was possible. So it got completely ignored. But she's like seeing it, and she's like, okay, well, you know, and we start talking about some of the specifics that are discussed in the video, and she's like, okay, wow, that doesn't sound so scary. That sounds really good. Like, I could support that. I don't know why my generation was the way we were. So maybe there's hope for her. Maybe there's hope.
Right on.
Oh shit.
There's two more people to go. Okay, me. I get. I come from a long, proud tradition of apolitical people. We were doing the whole apolitical thing well before
The
anybody
third
else was.
way.
Oh God.
We refused to engage in politics way back in the Roman Empire, even go back far back if we wanted to. And we my parents, like, they never had massively strong opinions. Like my dad was super into like punk and ska in the 70s and 80s.
Good
But
taste.
even then, he still didn't take on those messages. He just liked the music. It was like the messaging was never absorbed from that kind of stuff. So it was very very apolitical, and I normally butted heads quite a lot with most of my family. I still do. Every time I even try to like talk about it, like all of them just kind of like roll their eyes or like get real, or like get like kind of like, oh, like here we go again talking about the politics. And it's just sorry. It's like
my mom about the Vanguard party this morning.
And it's just and so it's like that really affected the way that I guess I kind of like think. Like I used to be super hardcore libertarian. Like I was like, if we get freedom for everybody, then everything will be good because everyone will be free. And then I started looking at it more critically and being like, well, actually, maybe that's not so accurate. Maybe there isn't such a thing as like total freedoms is the best kind of freedom. Like maybe there needs to be some restrictions on total freedoms. And I kind of went like more and more left every kind of year that I was alive. And I don't know who I said, maybe I'll just keep going. Maybe, anarcho-communist right now. Next year I'll be a fucking
Lily's going ultra left.
I'm going, we've got the political map. I'm going off the map. I'm finding like a new fucking way.
New territory.
It's the true third position.
Uncharted territory.
But yeah, I'm actually thinking, maybe doing a video on something like that at some point.
That's really good.
Okay, so then, ironically, I'm the only one with a Trump supporter for a father, yes?
Whoa.
Yeah.
It seems.
Oh, no, you're not.
So I'm the one with the Republican parent here, actually, in this call. And so I was raised to be a Republican, which I started to think was fucking stupid in high school. And then just once I went away to college, I mean, I'm going into like my last year of college now. So then going into my freshman year of college, I became like a liberal. You know what? Funnily enough, a liberal is the thing I've been for the least amount of time. I'd say, actually, technically, which I am proud of.
Well done, sir.
I am a little bit proud that I identified more as being a bullshit Republican before I was even old enough to even be a part of the party. I'm proud that I was a liberal for the shortest amount of time. That always tickles me. But so then I was a liberal for a little bit coming out of college, started reading about Marx and shit. and then just went very far left, much to my father's dismay. Of which it's still a point of contention today. Actually, we were texting, and he texted me a Milton Friedman video, which because actually he sent my Democratic Socialism YouTube video to his friends. They have a little political like group message, and they're all very anti-socialist, whatever. So they're sending back like Milton Friedman videos and stuff. And he sent those along to me, and then of course I was roasting him for not knowing what neoliberalism is, which I think is praxis.
Fair enough.
So yeah, here we are. Now I'm a communist.
Nailed it.
So that's an even bigger progression right there. Like it's your next year is going to be Nazbol, and it's right round to fascism, and then back down. You just go all the way around the school.
You know, I've been reading up about eco-fascism recently, and it seems like the right answer for a problem. So.
Actually, while you're here, if you're looking for a new thing, can I convince you with terrestrialism? I think we need to all work together to fight the mole people. I can't bring this up enough. They're the real problem.
I'm much more of an anti-lizard person type of guy, but
no, ignore the. Okay, no, I don't like you. You're the bad kind of terrestrialist. You're against the
here we
lizards.
go.
They're fine. The lizards are on our side. Okay. It's the
now we have to
fucking
fight.
mole people.
There we go.
Damn it, terrestrialist dissent. I thought there'd be unity in this movement.
There we go.
No, never.
Left unity is a myth.
They're splitters.
All right, so
Yeah.
all of you need to go watch Non-Compete and Black Red Guard's video that they did today.
Ooh, I watched that.
Oh, so good.
Wait,
That-
today? Not their
Yeah,
live
I
stream?
heard
Did they do
today
another
or-
video?
No, they did a live stream. It was just a live
Okay,
stream.
yeah, I watched that.
But like the point that they made there that was amazing is we're never gonna have ideological unity, but we can have tactical unity.
Yeah, I remember that part. I remember that
And like,
part.
I think that was the words where I was like, okay, that's it. I'm down. Let's go. You know,
All right, I like that. Wait, Mr. Swolitary, you were on Non-Compete, right? You guys had a little back and
Oh
forth.
yeah, we had a good little tiff.
Damn, see that's my goal. I need to get on Non-Compete. American Johnson, if you're watching, get me on the stream, okay?
Oh,
Please.
I have a list of people where I'm like, if like they invited me to talk to them, like, oh fuck, I'd be so hyped. Peter Coffin,
Peter
that
Coffin.
that'd be
I would
real.
on the stream.
so
That would
love.
Well,
Like I've
I
talked
mean,
to him a bunch, and he's like, he follows me on Twitter and shit. Like they follow me on Twitter and shit. But like,
Shit, dude.
fingers
That's why I
crossed.
need to get to him.
just make a mild critique of them, but
Oh,
also
I'm gonna roast American Johnson.
Okay, that's actually, but yeah, that's
He-
what you can do.
he
I'm gonna
responded to me. Somebody sent him my video on Twitter, and he was like,
I'm gonna
"How you
send
did-"
it to him from my fake account, like my
Yeah.
like alt-right style like bot account. I'm gonna send American Johnson my video. I'm gonna be roasting him for like overstepping his boundaries, talking on issues he shouldn't be speaking on. He's gonna feel guilty, and I'm gonna hijack his stream.
Okay, that's the thing. I could do American Johnson is secretly a mole person ally.
Your commitment to the joke is so inspiring. Like, oh my god.
Can you weave it into your to the commie?
See, you're saying that, but I actually do kind of want to make an American Johnson as a mole person ally now, sympathizer thing. I kind of want to make that video now.
That would be a good video. Yeah.
Shit. Okay, that's cool. I've got my next week's video sorted. Nice. That's
What was that, Jackie?
what?
Jackie said something, but I missed it.
I completely missed it too. I didn't. It like blurred out.
I think Jackie's dead.
Oh
The
no.
mole people got him.
Pour
Oh,
one
thank
out.
you.
Oh,
Pour one out.
We're all starting to get on board with the mole.
There we go.
Jackie, you there?
Seems like a baby.
you not hear me?
Sort of. Your
It's iffy.
Can you not?
Very iffy.
All right, hold on.
your internet's
Oh,
fucked.
Okay, maybe this mic works.
okay.
This
Yeah,
is
that
good.
seems better.
You good? So
Are we back?
should do like an Alex Jones style video from Steven
Oh.
Crowder's basement
Oh,
where you explain the conspiracy theory.
God.
Oh my
How he's
god.
actually a mole person.
That's from the basement.
Bring all of the. Do you have a frog suit? That would make it even better.
I
Oh,
don't have a frog suit, but I actually no. I have a plan for an Alex Jones style video for Jordan Peterson that I'm working on. That's a whole other story though. That's another conspiracy theory day. But I might do from Steven Crowder's basement as a thing for. I was gonna make it like only like a couple of weeks, or like maybe like a week, but I might like drag it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I just feel like if you
won't let me
stay there
leave, to be
long,
honest. I might be stuck here forever.
It's Steven Crowder's basement.
you'd have to get deranged.
It's like my new channel from Steven Crowder's basement. I mean, if you guys have any ideas for like what I could find in Steven Crowder's basement as like props for the thing, that would be great.
Oh man.
Great ideas. I'm currently
Unsold socialism is for fags t-shirts.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of those Nazi
Figs.
memorabilia.
Figs. It's figs, bro.
Right. Asterisks. Fake asterisks.
Yeah, it's figs. Come on, everybody. That's
Right.
cool.
Fucking so much for the tolerant left.
See, I would do the Nazi thing, but I don't actually own any Nazi memorabilia. Funnily enough, I don't have any.
Yeah, no,
Just
it's not a good look.
Yeah.
I don't have any like lying around that I can just grab. I'm not PewDiePie, you know. I don't just have
Yeah,
that
no.
kind of stuff in my house.
Oh god.
I mean, you know what? If he's listening to this, then fuck him.
Yeah, if PewDiePie's listening, fuck you. Big fuck you, PewDiePie.
If PewDiePie, don't listen to these guys. I'm your friend. You should have me on the channel.
No.
You should let me on. We'll talk it out.
Look at that. See, a bandit throwing people under the bus again just to get onto PewDiePie.
It's work. Neoliberal.
The only stream I'll beg to be on is American Johnson's. Maybe Black Red Guard's listening. Black Red Guard, let me on. We can talk about protracted people's world. Be a good time.
I would watch that.
This has just turned to us all begging, just like, please let us on.
Yeah.
This is not how the stream. This is how the stream dies. It's just us all just like saying who we want to like, who we want to in the stream of the most.
Jordan Peterson. You know what? They have you all wrong. You're not. I mean, don't listen to these guys.
We're going leftist. Fucking proletariats going like I want the right.
These are all postmodern neo-Marxists. Every last one of them.
Oh my god.
I'm proud.
Can we all drift to the right now? Can we change this? This is no longer BreadTube. This is Fast Tube stream. Nazgul stream.
Nazgul stream. We want to make some money, so I mean.
Nazgul might have some money.
Elon Musk, I'm a fucking Nazi. Throw me money. How about that?
Oh god, that guy.
I reckon you can make some money there. I reckon there's an avenue. You know.
I think he'd fund Nazism.
That's the thing. Like I'm always like, you know what? It's great because you can, you exploit your identity stuff, right? That's always.
Oh, if I hit a Candace Owens, oh my god. See, that's the thing. If I wanted to be rich, if I wanted to get on Fox News in like 6 months, my YouTube channel would not be BreadTube. Like that's just not.
Whoa!
No. I'd be going.
No. This is what. No, you would. You would start off as a communist, and then.
Oh yeah, see that I have to say.
You found the way. You realized it was all.
This is where I leave. All right, guys. Fuck all of you. All right. Dennis Prager, put me on the show. Alex Jones, whatever. Trump, let me speak. I'm out. Fuck Lefttube.
Well, if you're gonna sell out, that's the way to do it.
Hey, I'll get the most money. If I go right, I'll be swimming in a boatload of cash.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. Maybe if I feel evil enough, one day I will. But...
Okay, no, you go right, swinging a bunch of money, and then you just flip right back to left again.
Yeah,
You're like, oh, now
then I'm fucking George Soros, bitch. And I'm just fucking, here we go. You want a YouTube channel? Here's a fucking mic, get a webcam, Antifa, here's some fucking milkshake funding.
See, that's the plan.
Oh god,
maybe we've got Dave Rubin all wrong, and he's just waiting on his moment to.
He's playing.
Turns out his time. Guys, this is all rude. I've been left the whole time.
Dave Rubin, well, he's a centrist. He's a centrist, so he listens to both sides. All this time he's had on right wingers. Next time, Dave Rubin starts praising Mao and speaking about protracted people's war and then cultural revolution, and then he kicks off Rubinism. And there we are. New left movement.
It's the new left. It's the new version of the new Marxism.
Rubin gang. Marxism, Leninism, fucking Dave Rubinism.
Rubinism.
Actually, I might steal Rubinism for one of my videos. I've got a. It's actually not a bad one. I'm gonna
cite me. Send them to my channel.
Write it down.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm gonna quickly just write it down. Actually.
Rubinism. That's a good one. You know, actually,
You know how Dreg has that whole like anti-centrism?
Yeah.
This is like his big thing he's been working on. I'm looking to do a video of like how we need to not be anti-centrism is bad and centrism is bad. What we really need is like completely impossible ideologies. So ideologies that make no sense whatsoever. So like extreme time jumping capitalism, where you go into other timelines and you steal their resources.
Oh,
It's the easiest to fix, you know. It solves all the
super
problems.
capitalism.
That's-
I want to point out that I do intend on stealing one of your ideas. Last stream that didn't get recorded properly. You asked who were the sexiest communists, and I'm definitely making a video on that. I actually already had something about sexy communists in the works, but I think a whole video about that. Who are the sexiest communists?
I mean,
and why we need a new one and some new ones now to sex up our movement.
I mean, my communist video about me trying to do a video on communism has been lying there with that plan for about 2 months now. So I don't think it's ever getting made. I think it might just get abandoned to the
Scrap it.
Yeah, there's so many videos that I've had the scripts lying there. I just never got around to making them. That's been
Being
it's
productive is
sad,
reactionary. Scrap it.
Oh, you already have the script?
Yeah, I have like 10 scripts like literally in my thing right now, all like completed.
In your queue?
Yeah, and I don't know which one. I've got one of me like trying to figure out what the fuck praxis means. I still don't know. I've read it on Wikipedia like 5 times, and I still got no fucking clue what anyone's talking about.
Praxis is when you call somebody a liberal on Twitter.
Oh, that's way easier.
Write that down. Write that down. That's exactly
Write that down. Fucking like.
We're learning so much tonight.
That's when you call somebody a liberal.
I still feel like, I feel like you got one up on me because I have literally a whole video done that's just like laying there.
Why upload it? What?
Because
Post it.
There's like tiny I still have to render the whole thing. Like I still have to export the whole thing, and it's like
2 minutes.
Your videos take 2 minutes. This one ain't gonna take 2 minutes.
It's real quick.
Since we're one-upping each other.
No.
I mean,
there's no one up. It's just that like there's so much After Effects in this thing. I mean, the whole thing is green screen, and I'm like glowing and ridiculous the whole time. I mean, it's
amazing.
It's ridiculous. I mean, like it's seriously like I'm proud of like. Yeah, I'll go home and render it. Okay, fine. You win.
Yeah. Okay, look, legitimately, you are on a channel right now where me just did a fucking video of a pig with the Soviet national anthem. Nothing you release will ever be worse than that. That's a low point for BreadTube that I've set. So everything has to be better from that point onwards.
I appreciate your support, comrade.
Thank you, comrade.
Like I've set myself up as the worst BreadTuber, so everyone else can feel better about themselves. That's my goal I'm going for.
So much. Thank you so much.
You're doing God's work.
Someone has to be that person. But yeah, thankfully the chat's jumping in and giving me some possible ideas for crazy ideologies. Keep going, everybody. Like I need tons.
Crazy ideologies, trickle down economics.
No, fake crazy ideologies, not real ones.
Yeah, complete nonsense. Total fucking fantasy. Yeah, there you go.
I'm taking Rubenism because I like that. Terrestrialism. Give us a good idea for a name for like the time jumping or parallel universe jumping capitalism.
Ooh, what remember that show Quantum Theory? Is anybody old enough for that?
Quantum capitalism.
Quantum capital. Oh my God, yes.
Quantum capitalism. Excellent.
Quantum Leap was the show. You guys aren't old enough for that. God damn it. Bunch of young bucks.
People keep going. Keep giving me stuff. Pragerist nihilism. I'll take it. I'll figure something out.
Oh God.
But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, this is the rest of my like video. The stream is just going to be me writing stuff down. So keep giving me ideas. I need them. I need them so bad. What a movie! If I think of movie plotline, I can just go from there.
Hang on, I killed it. There's a Facebook meme page called John the Apostle's Theological Meth Lab.
What?
And I feel like if you're looking for names for crazy ideologies, or just like looking for like it's sort of like this group of various like Christian theologians who just have like these off the wall ideas and just are really big fans of posting nonsense. If you want to like come up with some like really good names, that would be a nice place to start.
Oh shit.
Right,
What was it one?
it's good stuff.
Allism. That was it. That was another good one that I had when I was in the shower. Allism.
Oh, here we go. There's somebody in the chat who said they envy people who weren't raised conservative. They were raised in a cult and feel it's a setback having to deprogram themselves. Damn. Like how?
Damn.
All right, here we go. What's this person? Misha Romo. How cult-like are we talking? I'm curious. We're still on the stream because, like, I know some of this conservative shit gets real weird. Honestly, some of it's like real. Like this Christian dominionist stuff is like
Real
fucking
weird.
batshit insane.
All right, hey, guys,
Batshit.
I got a jet. I'll be in the chat though. All right.
All
right.
Right.
See y'all later.
Peace.
But it has been like almost 2 hours. We're about
Oh yeah,
away from 2 hours.
we're close.
We're close. We're close to the revolution. It's
This is-
happening
This is
in the stream.
Revolution happened for 2 hours.
we're almost there.
Class consciousness building.
It's well, this is a revolution of the 12 people watching this. It's might be a rough time, but I reckon we've got it in us. I think we can pull it off.
Hey, for everyone on the stream watching, go dismantle an ice camp.
You
That's my
personally
solution.
dismantle that ice cap with some dynamite or something. Just get
I'll
the
get in
children
on
out
it.
there
Look,
first.
we're making moves. I can't say that on YouTube. But fuck ice. That I can't say. Fuck ice.
Actually, what are the limitations on what you can say? Because legitimately, I don't know you guys, but like I've found that I can kind of almost say anything, and I've not had any issues with like getting pulled.
Nah, just wait. I feel like what really happens is once you piss off enough conservatives that they're like these alt-right dudes start paying attention to shit, they'll mass flag you for something, and then just the second you fuck up or there's something where there's any like copyright violation or anything, then your shit's gonna get pulled right away. Like I feel like it's like you won't get bothered until you start getting bothered like a lot and get like really fucked with.
People will go on flagging
Huh.
campaigns.
I think you know what? I think I might be actually the luckiest. I might be the lucky bread tuber who will never get that happen to them. I can say anything I want and nothing bad will ever happen. And I'm gonna keep believing that until something bad happens. That's how I've got by through life. And that's how I'm gonna keep getting by, is pretending that I can never die. I'm invincible. The what? Sorry?
Didn't your channel just get canceled?
Yeah, you did get canceled.
You got canceled? Am I
That's a
talking to a
good point.
canceled person?
I'm as cancelled as a person who cancelled themselves through a talking point that they came up with can be. So
Sounds pretty canceled to me, dog. That's how it happens. All right, wait, what went down? What's the story?
Someone else want to explain? Because I think it's funny to hear what you guys try to put together from this.
So, did you see? You didn't see Gushin's latest video, I guess.
No, I don't believe I did.
It got canceled by the Commie Cowboy, who took over the channel. In fact, the reasons were spurious at best.
I see.
But Cowboy Commie is a character. Quite a character.
I said, I'm looking at him right now. Let's talk about cancel. I'm gonna watch this. I'm putting this on my watch later list, which is fucking massive. That's another problem with BreadTube. My watch later list on YouTube is huge. There's just too many videos I need to watch. It's kind of ridiculous.
It is true. I'm trying to go through H Bomber Guy's old stuff now, and it's all his videos are like 45 minutes long. God damn. But he's so funny.
All right, I just want to point out here that this Danny Bresci person's fucking pissing. Commie Cowboy got rid of me, okay? Like, he's not a badass. He's a horrible person, and I will gulag him when I get back to my when I get out of this basement.
Gulag.
When I get out of this fucking basement, there's gonna be some words. Let me tell you that much.
ML gang.
I'm pretty sure Steven Crowder's. He's put a lock on the door now. It was being drilled earlier on today. I'm really concerned. I'm actually really legitimately worried that he's going to keep me here forever.
Giving you food?
No, he's not. He's giving me like small little like PragerU videos every like 5 minutes as sustenance. And I mean, they're just not good. They're just not helping. You know,
That's
I
exactly
eat
what
them.
Siberian gulags were like. Actually, I don't know if you know this, but it was
They were full of Dennis Prager videos.
Yeah,
Real.
NKVD shows up at your door. Prager you for 20 years, hard labor.
That's how you make someone never want to go into a gulag. They have to deal with PragerU for the rest of their life. Whereas I just have to deal with him playing before all my videos.
People are giving Commie Cowboy compliments on his beard.
I swear to fucking God.
Good beard.
Also,
Wait,
holy shit. Huh?
I was gonna ask if anybody's familiar with the YouTube channel Polydice.
Yep.
Kinda liberal. You
Yeah.
guys know him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes good debunking videos, I think. He's very good PragerU debunking videos.
That's very much like, yeah, well, he's like built his whole thing around as that kind of thing. I just don't.
Yeah.
He does
We
a
can
lot of
let-
like.
We can let the liberals do that, and we'll so the liberals can handle the debunking parts, like all the dumb conservative and alt-right talking points.
The liberals. The liberals. We should get. I want to have a debate with some liberals at some point. That's my goal. Give me a Destiny stream. That's what I see. I'm gonna call out Destiny in a big way. Get on his stream, hijack his followers. You know how people go on Joe Rogan and just hijack the platform? I'm trying to do that with all these goddamn liberals, and I just radicalize their fan base.
That's gonna be so fun. You're gonna really enjoy that. Gonna really enjoy getting fucking taken out by a bunch of very, very angry Destiny fans.
All right,
to be honest, is it what?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I mean, I was just gonna be like, has anybody got any more like impossible ideologies for me before we end the stream? I just got
Post Presbyterian Star Wars Bolshevism.
No, you've missed the important part. Like, it needs to be short-ish. I think I'm gonna chuck on anarcho-Stalinism.
That's good.
Maoist BDSM.
Oh shit. What about not post-Maoism? True Maoism, which is the cats are the real leaders of the world, and it's meow spelt with. That's a good one.
Traditional futurism.
I'll take it. I'm just gonna make like a quick, like probably like 5-minute video, just like running all these and treating them like a real thing, and how they need to rise. They need to rise up because we clearly can't use any of the current systems. We need to get new political ones. All the current ones are failures. So
Coke Pepsiism.
I'm sure I'll just look through some like, movies and see what I can find. But yeah, Emily, you got anything else? You're the host. You're the stream person. What do you?
Does that's gosh. I haven't put out anything in like 2 months now because my last video or my newest video I rendered and finished it, and then as soon as I rendered it and I had the file, I was like, I don't like this anymore. So I ended up adding another like 15 minutes to it and a whole bunch more shit for the fans. But it's taken me so goddamn long, and I want now I want to add a theatrical element to it. So yeah,
investment and a half.
Maybe
the one you've got the recordings from people.
Do it as a theatrical.
Sorry.
Is this the one you've got like all the recordings from people
Maybe
for?
you should
Yes, this one.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's turned into it was 20 minutes, now it's much longer. But it's like, and it's not even a coherent, like it's not even here's one point, like here's one thesis. It's got like 7 theses because I can't fucking put together an essay that does it. I just want to talk about everything that pops into my head. So they keep bobbing and weaving in and out of different subjects. But it'll be fun.
Get you every time. So that's like, how long do you make your videos long, right? Like,
I try to make them not long. I try to make them like 15 minutes, but they end up being, like longer video essays. This one definitely is gonna be.
I still don't. Every time I talk to people about this, like, I still just don't understand how the hell they actually do that. Like, I can't make a script longer than like 10 minutes tops. Like 10 minutes is like the limit, and then just gets like I just start losing interest very quickly.
Well, I make a script, and then I start thinking, oh shit, here are some holes that could be poked by the right wingers who might watch it, or centrists. Oh, and then I think, oh, here's some holes that could be poked by some left wingers that might watch this. And shit, I gotta plug these gaps, or I gotta anticipate what someone else might say to criticize. So that just keeps snowballing the script, and then I keep finding things on the internet that I want to include. So my videos, I add in a lot of. It's not just me talking. I add a lot of shit borrowed from other interviews and clips from TV shows, and then memes and shit. So it gets pretty bloated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess I could like see like I normally just do the script, film the video, chuck it up, done. I don't think about it too much. I don't.
Probably the smart way to do it.
Well, you know what? I'm like, fuck, like people like PewDiePie and shit have like a video every day. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta compete. I gotta put out a video, like 3 videos a week kind of thing.
I mean, but like for people like PewDiePie and a lot of these right wingers too, who make their just bullshit streams all day, it's just their webcam and a face and whatever fucking pops up on the Reddit feed. And it's just the first thing they talk about. It's just endless fucking content and just outrage all the time.
It's also endless. Like they don't think about it. They'll allow themselves to be stupid, and they don't like and to make bad arguments. Whereas I think the left in general wants to make their arguments sound. And even if it's a short video, like we're not going to go out there and just spew random bullshit. Like they will easily just for content.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different scenario.
There's integrity to the arguments. It's not just speaking just for the sake of speaking, and that's what a lot of these fucking right-wing channels are, day in and day out.
Right, and then you get called out by American Johnson and not compete, and then you're like, oh shit, I need to make my stuff even more bulletproof. So it's never ending.
Look, American Johnson's a liberal. All right, put me on the stream. Let's argue.
Making the big calls there. I legitimately I don't like even I just like if anyone calls me out, normally my response is I'm an idiot. I just fucked up. That's all. And that's it. That's my only yeah, some people like the message, like that's great. I just don't really give a shit enough. As weird as that might be, I just don't care enough about like making.
I try to make these semi-serious points because apparently I haven't something. I just dig myself holes here, trying to present information as if I'm any kind of authority on it. But that's what I get myself into. It's bad. You're doing it. What you're doing is right.
It's easier. It's a lot easier than what I'm doing. I'll tell you that much. I already like have like compared to like a few like YouTubers I know, like I already have like as many, if not more videos than they do, because I just keep grinding that shit out, and it's just very easy to do so. So like I've already hit I'm like 33 videos or some shit now.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're blowing it out of the park. You're doing good.
And I still haven't broken 1,000 subs.
How is it? What are you getting? Like a couple a day? How's the?
Oh, it's random as shit. Like I'll log on someday and I'll gain like 50 subscribers or some shit, and like other times it'll be like a week with nothing. So I've given up on trying to like notice consistency to my subscriber gain.
Right. Yeah. It's depressing. You can't look at it, especially after you put out a video that you think is good or interesting, and then you're just like, oh, nobody fucking watched it or cares or subbed.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I've done. As I said, I'm hoping to possibly appear. I know I've been talking to him a little bit, but like I might be on a Peter Coffin stream at some point in the next like before the end of this year, kind of thing.
Cool.
which I've really wanted to do for a while. Like we've had like I said, we've talked about it on, like Discord and Twitter and shit, and I really want to do something with him. But right now I'm just kind of like trying to help him with like the whole like diverse Lefttube incubator thing.
Yes.
Because I like, really like that, and there's like some really good people. And while we're here, actually, if I could say, go and check out somebody's channel. Conquest of Dread is a really, really good channel. I don't know how you. I can't find them for Conquest of Dread on like YouTube. Just typing it in, but like they're like one of the few channels I actually follow. And they're
YouTube. I think I just found it.
Oh, that's easy. They're a Pakeha Maori person from Auckland here in New Zealand, and they do some really, really good videos.
Wait, do they talk about like? I see a video called "Why Aquaman Sucks."
Yep, they did. That was about the commodification of Polynesian bodies.
Oh, fuck.
They've got life pay to win, all about like capitalism, that kind of stuff. You've got You Have Been Tricked, about like unconscious bias and its relation to the alt-right.
Really?
Yeah,
they have some amazing videos. They're kind of new, but they've like really jumped up.
What's the channel? You said Conquest of Dread?
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, definitely like if I was going to like advise anybody to like check out a channel, that would be the channel that I'd be like, go look at them. They're really good.
Oh, sure.
I would like to advise people to go to a channel too. I don't even think they're on the Lefttube group, but they should be. It's but I've been fucking pumping her tires and promoting her like crazy. Is Huntress X Thompson. If you're not sub to her, go do that. She has incredibly well researched. She has like 4 or 5 videos. She just started like 3-4 months ago, and it's like they're not flashy videos, but knowledge, just deep in knowledge on the alt-right.
I'm looking right now. She has a video about Julius Evola, who's like the godfather of like all the modern fascist movements.
Yes,
Watch this.
It's deep dives.
Yeah.
Oh man, she's brilliant, and
I know a little bit about this girl.
She's gotten attention from the fascists. If you look at her comments, like they've been mass downvoting her and leaving stupid like ridiculous alt-right comments as they would.
Yeah,
check her out.
That's nice. I like that. That's quite cool. I was like saying that like usually it's gonna be like oh, like there's this great channel, like really love them, you should definitely check them out. Like it's the Swoletarian.
It's the Swoletarian.
It's like, wait, are you prompting yourself? Like that's crazy.
That would be amazing if I should have done that.
Remember, everything can be a joke. That's the way to play the game.
It is. You got any channel recommendations there, Chet?
There's a channel called Suck My Opinion.
Oh,
I found out about him from American Johnson, Non-Compete. And then aside from Suck My Opinion, Innuendo Studios just came out with a new video. I assume Innuendo Studios is pretty popular, but has a very good for anybody who hasn't heard of it, their Playbook of the Alt-Right series is, I think, like one of my favorite like Lefttube video series that I've seen so far, and I think it's one of the most insightful. Basically a new video, but it's about like video games. But Playbook of the Alt-Right by Innuendo Studios, I think, is very important. Very important.
All right.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, unless anybody else has anything else to say. Oh, Gushin, do you have plans for when you do hit that 1,000 subs?
Yeah, I'm probably going. I've got 2 videos that I've got lined up that I'm probably gonna do for 1,000. The first one is the fact battle. Jordan Peterson is really Kermit the Frog conspiracy theory video.
That's great.
Which is me linking Jordan Peterson's story to Kermit the Frogs, and also tying that back into the plague of frogs from biblical times and the gay frog chemical water.
You need to get archetypes in there somehow.
I've got Jungian archetypes. Don't worry,
yeah.
I've got those worked in. It's basically just I'm just doing this massive InfoWars style video for that one lined up. I'm
excited.
The other plan is a Q and A, which is where instead of me taking questions. I don't give a shit about what I think. It's going to be me doing a video of me asking questions for people to answer in the comments. Because there's a bunch of stuff I just want to know the answers to, and I just curious to see what my subscribers.
A reverse Q&A.
Yeah, it's a reverse Q&A. It's it's a Q&A. It's questions for you and answers from you.
Like, what the fuck is Praxis?
No, like legit. One of them is like, who are these people who keep posting on like music videos, being like, oh, like music was so good back in these. I'm like, who are you? Why are you posting this? Like, what's the purpose of like posting that on there? Like, who are you possibly trying to like appeal to here? Like, it's the most pointless thing I've ever seen, and I'm just curious to know if any of my subscribers know the answers to that. That's what I've got planned for 1K subs, which if things go well, it could happen today if everybody who is subscribed to you subscribes to me and drops your taking forever to make a video ass. You know, I make videos every 2 days or every day if you're lucky. So I'm just saying.
All right, if you're watching this stream, unsub from me right now and just give it all to Gushin and Jet. Unsub. I'm never gonna put another video out. Just
this is you canceling us. You're like, I'm done.
You know what? I'm taking on the cancel myself now. I'm taking it from you.
We can
Proletariat outing himself as a liberal. We are the real socialist kings of YouTube.
Yeah, you know what? It's easier being a liberal. I think I might just go back.
Good for you.
Life, it's easier being apolitical. We could all just go back to that.
Right.
You know? Just don't think about anything ever. Head in the sand. Ism.
All right. Any closing words from anybody?
I guess I'll go with, if anybody who's watched the video all the way through to this point, which is impressive if you have, in the comments, I'm assuming you're going to be posting this video?
Yes, it should be already. Yeah.
In the comments for this video, please chuck in like random impossible ideologies that are like made up or based on like TV shows and let me use them for my video. Thanks.
Yes, do that.
I would just like to say everyone go subscribe to my channel and then also contribute to the dismantling of ICE.
I thought we wanted the ICE.
No, the ICE, yes. However, Immigration Customs Enforcement.
Why is the alt-right is so shit at making meme videos? Why has nobody made a fucking alt-right meme video being like, but I thought the progressives wanted us to keep the ICE. Like,
I'm sure there's like a 4-panel
me.
meme or some Pepe image out there, something like that, but I assure you it's poorly done.
I've always thought like the right is so shit at making jokes. Like
they're not funny.
Me.
They're not.
I
the
know,
right
it's so sad.
Meme. The
it's
right
just so sad. I like it. I always think of better memes than them, and I'm always like, why am I not right wing? I could make so much money.
Yeah, dude, go grift, man.
What they think is funny is degenerates. They just watch videos of people, of leftists and feminists and disabled people being themselves, and that's what.
Yeah, and
funny.
they laugh at that. Yeah,
that's what they think is funny. Legitimately,
it's fucking cruelty.
Degeneracy. All right. That's it. That's all. Everybody unsub from my channel, please. Don't ever like any of my videos again. Please don't watch me. Give it all to Jeff and Gucci.
Thank you. I'm not a liberal. Good night, everybody.
I am a liberal.
All right. Peace out, gang.
So, yeah.
Peace.